You know what's a sucker to me? A sucker is a dude who pick who he be fight with.
Right.
Like if you sitting and you go, oh, I'm not going because
A sucker, to me, is someone who carefully chooses who they want to fight based on who they think they can beat. It's like they look at the situation and say, I'll pick this fight because I think I have a good chance of winning. People do that sometimes, especially when they think they can take someone down easily. But here's the thing, it's frustrating to watch people mess with others' intelligence and treat them like they're stupid. The way people deceive others these days is honestly mind-blowing. It's like lying has become a job for some. There are people out there who literally make a living by lying, manipulating the truth, and trying to mislead others. It's wild how people can just twist facts and play with your perception like it's nothing. The way they lie to people and trick them into believing their version of the truth is so troubling. I can't even believe how some people do it. They play games with people's minds, act like they're telling the truth, but everything that comes out of their mouth is just designed to mislead and deceive. It's not just about telling small lies, it's about creating a whole different reality for the people who listen to them. They might make you question everything you know or believe just because they're so convincing with their words. When people make these lies, it makes you start wondering how much of what you hear in everyday life is real. It's crazy, because you never know if the person you're listening to is giving you their honest opinion, or if they're just trying to sell you something that isn't true. It really makes you think about the world we live in and how much information is out there that's being twisted or altered for some kind of personal gain. I think a lot of people are starting to realize how bad it's gotten. It's not just about someone lying occasionally, it's become a full-time job for some people. They lie on purpose to create an image or to push a specific narrative. The truth doesn't seem to matter to them as much as what they can get out of the situation. And people buy into it because they're either too trusting or they don't know any better. It's sad that this has become so common. Take the example of people who just want to cause drama. They go around picking fights, not because they actually want to argue or prove a point, but because they feel like it'll make them look good, or they think they can win the fight without consequences. They pick on people they believe are weaker, not realizing that they're just manipulating the situation. It's not about settling differences, it's about power, control, and winning for the sake of it. They want to prove something to themselves or others, but it's all just an illusion. And let's not forget about the people who use their words to stir up confusion and chaos, only to walk away once they've done the damage. They don't care who they hurt in the process, as long as they get what they want. They leave a mess behind, but they don't stick around to clean it up. The damage done to people's trust and mental well-being is often overlooked. It's so easy to fall into these traps because a lot of people are vulnerable. Everyone wants to believe in something, in someone, and they get caught up in the lies that are told to them. It's easy to get manipulated when you don't have all the facts or when you're dealing with someone who's good at convincing you that they know better than you. Some people don't even realize they're being played until it's too late. I get frustrated just thinking about it because it's such an obvious issue, but so many people still fall for it. Why do people choose to deceive others so easily? It's as if being dishonest has become the norm and people don't even realize the consequences of their actions. Everyone is out for their own interests, and sometimes, in the process of trying to get ahead, they forget that honesty and integrity are what truly matter. The way people lie and manipulate today is more than just a bad habit. It's a way of life for some. It's hard to trust people when you see so much of it happening around you. We're living in a time where the truth is constantly being questioned, twisted, or ignored altogether. It makes you think about what's real and what isn't. And honestly, it can be exhausting trying to figure out who is telling the truth and who is just trying to get ahead by pulling the wool over your eyes. I think we all need to take a step back and realize that these lies and games with people's intelligence are doing more harm than good. We shouldn't just accept it as normal. We need to start recognizing when we're being manipulated, and we should challenge these behaviors instead of letting them slide. If we don't, this pattern of dishonesty and manipulation will only continue to grow. It's up to all of us to demand more honesty, more integrity, and to stop letting people get away with playing games with our minds. Come talking to me, I feel like you're very selective. This is exactly what I meant last week when I was talking about street is being. Word on the street is Jay Prince might be pressing 50 Cent over the shots he took at Big Meech, warning him to chill out with that rat. talk or else, but y'all already know 50 don't just sit back when somebody sends heat his way, and this time, and what's looking like J Prince might have arced up the wrong tree. This situation got layers, and J Prince's past ain't exactly working in his favor. His name stays tangled up in all kinds of shady business, extortion whispers, suspect ice games, and even folks out here saying him and his son had something to do with Haykoff's death. That means if 50 wanna go full throttle and air out Drin's skeletons, he got plenty to pull from, and now 50 done slid over to IG, seemingly clapping back at them rumored threats, just to remind folks exactly how he handles anyone trying to test him. But is J Prince really riding this hard for Big Meech? What exactly did he say to 50, and is he playing himself by coming for the pettiest man in hip-hop? Let's get into it. So if you were wondering, 50 Cent still got his foot pressed firmly on Big Meech's neck over them snitching claims. He ain't letting up, but he ain't the only one firing shots right now. Lately, Top 5 jumped online to drag the ex-Kingpin for sliding in his DMs. In a video, he straight up called me rat and tagged 50, telling him, "Yo 50 Cent, come get this fake 60-year-old Kingpin out my DMs before I crash out. Hashtag Big Screech. This __. Rat thought he could DM me and tap in, yo 50 Cent, come get this fake 6-year-old Kingpin out of my DMs. Should have worked a regular job like my father. Big Meech, Big Screech, ya little Meech, call me little." And you already know 50 wasted no time jumping on the chance to clown Meech some more. He reposted Top 5's video, adding his own spin to keep the trolling going, while most folks in the industry kept their heads down, trying not to get caught in 50's beef with Meech. Drince went ahead and inserted himself when literally nobody asked. Some gossip pages just put out word that Drince has been slit-talking on Instagram stories, shading 50 for supposedly using Big Meech's name for clout. It's like he just couldn't help but jump in, even though he wasn't in this from the start. Apparently, JP even posted, then real quick deleted a message saying he created the BMF brand. But that's not even the whole story. Some insiders claim J Prince has been making some low-key power moves behind the curtain, allegedly sending out threats and trying to get his people to silence 50, but 50, he ain't flinching. He basically let it be known, try all you want, he ain't going nowhere. He even posted a clip from training day just to send a message that whatever heat they bring, he built for it, and in the caption he kept it simple, get the message. Now fans out here are roasting J Prince, telling him to fall back, cause if there's one person you don't want to be beefing with, it's 50 Cent, not when you got your own shady business hanging over your head. Now, if you don't already know about J Prince, he is the CEO and co-founder of Rap-A-Lot Records, one of the most legendary labels to ever come out of Houston. He calls himself the king of town, moving like the whole city belongs to him, and there's this unwritten rule that when big-name rappers touch down in Houston, J Prince steps in like their unofficial bodyguard, making sure they move right. Maybe we need to change the word for the youngsters. The checking in part, you know, is they seem to get hung up on that word. Checking in, yes, so if we could diversify that word and bring it up to a 2021 thing, right? What's the word OG? What's the word hello? Maybe we may want to tell them they need to get connected. Yeah, you know what I mean. Maybe that's the proper word, connected, properly connected or whatnot. Yeah, they getting tripped up on the semantics. Yeah, they get stuck. I mean, right there, you stuck. So then you use stuck on stupid, right? Stuck on stupid, and you're not using your powers, access to powers that you have. You're looking at it as a negative versus a positive. You know, we all know if you can tap into good people wherever you go, wherever, you know what I mean. It's a blessing. RIP, real talk. I mean, who want to have access to power and not you, but not everybody is buying into that whole protection talk, and the streets have been buzzing that J Prince and his son Jazz might really be running a full-blown extortion hustle. And if that wasn't shady enough, folks have been whispering heavily about the dice games they are hosting in Houston, where artists allegedly get set up so somebody else can eat off them. These rumors hit a fever pitch after Takeoff's tragic passing, but truth be told, Tate wasn't even the first one to lose his life. After one of Jazz Prince's infamous dice nights just a couple months before that, Chicago's own Duke the Jeweler hit big, walking away with $100K, but that win turned fatal before he could even make it to his car. He got robbed, ambushed, and shot down. So after Takeoff's situation, a lot of fans started pointing fingers at Quo, saying he should have known better than to be around J Prince and his mob ties crew, especially after what happened to Duke just 2 months earlier. And with all the shady talk swirling around the Prince family, folks feel like Quo should have kept his distance. Now let's talk about the man accused of pulling the trigger, Patrick Xavier Clark. He just got officially indicted by a grand jury for Takeoff's murder, but Even though it's been almost 3 years, the court still ain't set a trial date, and here's where it gets real sketchy. Literally a day after Clark got arrested, he magically came up with $1 million bond and walked free on house arrest. Then fast forward to November 2023, and out of nowhere the rules flipped. Clark was no longer on house arrest and didn't even have to wear an ankle monitor. All he had to do was stick to a 7:00 p.m. to 700 a.m. curfew, and that ain't even the craziest part. Court docs show that Clark got hit with strict no-contact orders. He can't reach out to no witnesses, no victims, not even Takeoff's family, and get this, he also can't speak to J. Prince Jr. Anyway, now you already know fans side-eyeing this whole thing, cause how do you go from lockdown to moving freely like that with just a curfew? The way this case keeps flipping and turning, and they still ain't set a trial date, it's looking like a real suspect. And here comes the latest twist. Patrick Xavier Clark standing 10 toes down on his innocence. His lawyer Letitia Cannons Holland just told Rolling Stone that her client ain't the one who fired them shots that took off's life, but she ain't stopped there. She went straight for the investigators next, calling out the so-called evidence they trying to use against Clark. She says ballistics and video footage ain't lining up, and when was not Patrick Clark? Cone Holland told Rolling Stone he was in the same position that Takeoff was in. He was trying to get out of there alive as well. He didn't have anything to do with the argument that occurred. He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time when people started firing weapons. Now circling back to all them whispers about J. Prince lining up rappers with them dice games, this ain't new talk. Plenty of folks in the industry have been speaking on it, and one of the loudest voices, Whack 100, he straight up put J. Prince's son on blast, saying he runs a rigged dice game hustle on rappers whenever they touch down in Houston. So I had a dude call me, right, and that Junior been having some going on down there in Houston, bro. We got the media team in there, so it's inside mother. Yeah, now this mother, he's the one that's tied to the dude that makes the loaded dice, right? Check the play out. All entertainers, when you go to Houston, stay away from J. Prince Jr. The whole play going on here, go the play, right? Here the play is a loaded dice. Now I'ma talk about something, let me see if y'all catch up with to what I'm saying. Whack 100 has been telling artists to steer clear of Jazz Prince dice games, saying they are nothing but a straight up finesse. He even hinted that Quavo and Takeoff might have gotten mixed up in some shady dealings, and that could have been the spark that set off the whole situation, leading to Takeoff's tragic death. And watch this, and Lil Cam are the loaded dice rotators, right? He said, Whack, there was a situation that occurred that a certain jeweler around and got past the dice on accident and was hitting all limb for a couple hundred. They got irritated about that. I ain't going to go too far into that story because right, boom, the only way they could get their money back was how they money back, he said. But Lil Kim, Wolf, and Big Caprice are the three designated to say I'm up, I got the next, and they pass the dice to each other, but they loaded, but they shooting against them. Up in town, the entertainer, right, they say J. Prince Jr., he get 30% of whatever the take is. So when Jazz Prince got pressed about all these accusations, he shut it down fast and claimed he ain't even know Duke the jeweler. He also swore up and down that his dice games had nothing to do with Duke or Takeoff losing their lives, brushing off all the talk as nothing but baseless rumors. Can y'all elaborate on dice game when it's tied to y'all? I know people were associating me with that jeweler situation because I went to Lucy pool party and he happened to be there, and he happened to be standing on me, I mean right next to me. The truth is I never met him before. I had no idea who he is. I ain't even know he was a jeweler until after his passing, and then the night of that game isn't the night that he got leaving Bowie concert the next night cause somebody tried to rob him. But the shady talk around J. Prince and his business don't stop there. His name has been tied to extortion rumors for years, but only recently has he been making real headlines for it. Just look at what went down in July 2020 when NBA YoungBoy got hit with a robbery in Houston. Allegedly, J. Prince's goons pulled up on YoungBoy's Airbnb, but they weren't just grabbing random stuff, nah, they went straight for his icy chains and even snatched the keys to his $350,000 Bentley. And instead of keeping it low-key, these dudes actually had the nerve to post a video flexing, showing themselves breaking in and stunting with his stolen goods, including a white Bentley, a white Rolls-Royce, and a white 2020 McLaren GT. But here's where it gets even more suspect. They ain't just taking YoungBoy's stuff for the thrill of it. They hit him with a $30,000 ransom demand to get it back, making folks believe this was just another one of J. Prince's extortion moves. And to make it even wilder, Drenz himself jumped on Instagram saying he had YoungBoy's chains and keys, even inviting him to come pick him up while we was gone. I gotta call, you know what I mean, because the Little homie young boy place. Got broke into, people went in this place, disrespected different things, and I got a call about it, and the little homeless that went into this place want to make that right, because they understand that, you know what I mean, a young boy family is okay with me. And as you can see, homie, to make a long story short, I got your keys to your Rolls Royce, I got your keys to your McLaren, you know, all that they took, and the homie, what's your cool, what you got, homie, you got your Rolls Royce umbrellas, you got your keys, got a bunch of other __. Son, get in contact with us, bro. Get your suit back, man. Oh, good. Where you going? But young boy wasn't going for any of that. He peed the game and felt like J Prince was just trying to finesse him out of more money. He fired back, calling J Prince a shady dude who uses that whole checking in talk as a front to extort rappers whenever they pull up to Houston. All this __. Hey, I don't want no friends. I don't want no new relationships. All that __. Hey, I don't respect none of this. __. Man, if you got something for me, man, they got plenty. __. You could call man. __. It's plenty ways you can get in touch with me, man. Don't get on no internet and do nothing publicly. Don't do nothing dealing with no publicity, none of that. __. And I'm good on them keys, gonga, when you buy __. Cash, two kids come with the car anyway, mind your business. But young boy ain't the only one fed up with J Prince and his antics. Cameron and Mahi just threw some major shade his way too, calling him out for allegedly setting young boy up and then standing by while his golden boy Drake got straight up humbled by Kendrick Lamar. Young boy NBA umbrellas and his keys to car. Young boy NBA told y'all, and this what he said. This is what young boy NBA said. WAG 100 was the most disrespect, wild disrespect. I ain't even gonna repeat this. __. Where Hunter said mad disrespect. Drake is beefing with Kendrick Lamar as we speak. I have not heard this though. First time Drake got into some, and I hear you say to Kendrick Lamar him, why do you think that you could tell us what we can and cannot say? Petroleum. Now Cam and Mag's beef with J Prince really popped off when he tried to strongarm them into falling back on their criticism of New Jersey boxer Shakur Stevenson, who just so happens to be managed by him. Cam and M weren't rocking with how Stevenson handled his latest world title defense, and they made that loud and clear on their platform, but J Prince wasn't trying to hear any of that. He hit up Instagram with a slick little warning telling them to fade all Stevenson's shots and take all bets. Drince wrote, "Numbers don't lie, haters do. Let the haters say that he's boring and nobody wants to watch him. Sorry to tell you, it's just a select few of you haters. As you can see, there's proof that he has the #1 ratings in any fight on ESPN this year and the top 3 ratings since 2022. And to all of you haters who want to escalate that hate outside of the ring, I'm Shakur's manager and I handle all his business outside of the ring. In other words, Cam and Mace, I will fade all his shots and take all bets." But even with the threats, Cam and Modsy weren't sweating it. Tell you another thing, when you're dealing with older people, they're the last to know that things have changed. "We not your little, like the way you talk. I don't get what you mean. We're not your little, like for real. All that big homie stuff, that's for little big homies. We're not little, so we don't even respect big homies. I know doesn't, and for me, I never respect the in the streets. That's why I always got the problems I got. Would tell me, Maze, chill, no chill. For what, who is this? That's how I feel listening to this man. Like, I want to respect you, but I can't, and I'm going to tell you why. Cause if I got a lord like the dudes that raised me, if I was out of pocket, they would tell me I'm out of pocket. They wouldn't let me put them on a crash out mission. They would say, yo, Mace, listen, around here we don't send to do nothing for us. We don't pay to handle our problems. You got to put in your own work around here, Lord man." That's what you were supposed to tell them. You can't go out here and talk crazy and then send me on a mission. Folks saying Drince already got way too much dirt tied to his name to be out here picking a fight with 50, somebody who built his whole brand on exposing people. And if 50 decides to air Drince out, oh, it's going to get ugly. Let's just say he got plenty of material to work with from them. Dice Game whispers to them alleged extortion plays and everything in between, and knowing 50 he ain't just going to expose J Prince, he might turn the whole thing into a movie. But what y'all think about J Prince jumping in this big meech mess and allegedly sending threats to 50? Do you think he is playing himself, or does he actually have a case? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't miss this next.